On Friday, the day Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak stepped aside, CBS reporter Lara Logan, seen here in an earlier broadcast, was covering the intense celebration in Tahrir Square for a 60-minute story. In the turmoil, she, her team, and their security were surrounded by a dangerous mob of more than 200 people, whipped into a frenzy. This is a shot of her shortly before she was separated from her companions in the crush of the mob. She was surrounded and suffered a brutal and sustained sexual assault and beating. After being saved by a group of women and an estimated 20 Egyptian soldiers, she reconnected with the CBS team, returned to her hotel, and then to the United States on the first flight the next morning. She is currently in the hospital recovering. We turn now to that ugly attack in Egypt on CBS News correspondent Lara Logan. It happened in those chaotic moments Friday when the crowds learned that President Mubarak was out. And for the latest details, let's go to Martha Raddatz in Washington. Martha, CBS News isn't saying much about this incident, but they did describe it as a brutal and sustained sexual assault.
They did, George. You know, we know dozens of journalists attacked in Egypt before President Hosni Mubarak stepped down, but this brutal attack occurred in the midst of what looked to be a celebration.
February 11th, cheers of joy in Cairo as President Mubarak resigned. But deep within the jubilant crowd at Tahrir Square, a nightmare was apparently unfolding as CBS News chief foreign affairs correspondent Lara Logan and her team were surrounded by what a CBS News statement said was a mob of more than 200 people whipped into a frenzy.
Lara was covering the celebrations in Cairo last Friday when she was surrounded by a mob, sexually assaulted and beaten. She was rescued by a group of women and Egyptian soldiers.
Logan has now been released from the hospital and is back at home here in Washington with her husband and 2 children recovering. And George, of course, we wish her our very best.
We certainly do. We hope she's back to work soon. Okay, thanks, Martha.